What's up, YouTube fans? Today we'll take a look at the MetaGate Haiku, their version of the last night movie Drift. So I'm not a big Bayverse movie character guy, but this figure I thought was pretty cool. One, it's a triple changer, so it changes into a robot and a helicopter, which is shocking. And number two, it's a Bugatti. I love Bugatti and just vehicles in general. Cars like this, so I had to check this out. My friends bought this as a gift, so thank you to them. Now, I did in my unboxing show you how you put these rear view mirrors in, but I didn't notice this little sticker here. So you have these reflective rear view mirrors, very tiny sticker, very easy to lose. So you're just going to take these and put them on these little pieces here. So I'm going to get that done off camera, and then I'll show you what it looks like. And there it is with the stickers on there. I'm not sure if that was worth the effort. They're really tiny stickers, but it does add to the reflective piece there. But overall, really nice looking vehicle. I don't have any stuff from the last night to fit this in with, but I do like this vehicle quite a bit. And for size comparison, there it is next to the Transform Element Optimus Prime and the Masterpiece Plus smokescreen, and fits in nicely with Masterpiece scale. Pretty much the size of a vehicle, wider obviously, but it should be wider because it's a Bugatti, so looks good with a Masterpiece scale collection. Obviously not this collection for a G1, but more the movie collection. Alright, now let's get this guy transformed into his robot mode. I will admit it is a very challenging transformation, hard to remember everything as well. So I'm going to do my best, but I can't promise anything great. This is tabbed in here. It should be, this one came without a tab, so I'm not sure what happened to it, but this one has the tab. And you pull that down. It's just a very, very small tab. Right? You pull those away. Come to bottom here. You can untab this from here. We're going to end up coming to the back. You're going to lift up on this panel, and to help yourself, you can just get a spudger out and pop that up. Pop this up. Pop that up, and you can fold that open. And that's going to like take this whole panel and fold that out. So bring it down from here. Down from here. Make sure you open this up, and the whole thing's going to fold away from the chest. It's really kind of crazy. Alright, same thing on this side. Go ahead and unpeg this from here. And the wheel is kind of wedged right under here. So you got to get it out of that. And then also off this tab. And once you do that, you kind of freeze it all up. And you can fold all of this away. Right? Once you got that out of there, you can fold this section downwards. Come to here, fold this up. These are going to fold inwards. And just store right in there. These are going to come to the bottom and rotate and store in here. And inside of here. So it should sit flat like that. I'm going to take this, and this is going to come down and tab in. You can see there's a tab on the top of the windshield. Come all the way down and tab in. It's kind of a tight fit, by the way. And then you can fold this back down. And now we can take care of some of this. I think it's easiest to work on the feet first, or the legs, so let's work on that. So still leave this down, and we'll take care of all this. So this is going to come and sit in here. There's a tab inside here and a slot right there. So line those up, bring this down, and get that tabbed in. If you don't get that tabbed in, you'll have trouble later with the hips and movement of the hips. So make sure you get that in there. All right. Oh, I still didn't get it. Okay, that's in there. Now I'll take care of this leg, which is very complicated. Open this up. Actually, you can fold this down right here. Open this up. Fold this way and straighten up the foot. Take this entire panel. This is going to rotate with the foot past here. Come to the inside here, and we're going to fold this panel out. You're going to rotate this window in and down. It's going to sit right in that cavity. So just like that. All right, before we close this up, rotate this around and make sure it gets flush on this side. It has to make its way past. So it should look like that. Then take this and close it down. It's going to tab in on top here. So you get this around. And there's a tab in here as well. So that tab's going to fit into the side. So you got to get both of those in. Just kind of clicks into place. This is going to come down. We're going to rotate this panel around. And then once you get that rotated, get this tab into here. And that kind of makes up its knee piece there. Okay. Come to the bottom here, we're going to take this panel here. This is going to rotate down. We're going to open up this, and there's a little tab right there, and that's going to peg in to the bottom of the leg. Take the foot, that's going to rotate down. You're going to open this up, and this is going to bring this panel down, and then this is going to sit right here, and then close up the little claw right there. And you can see I did knock off this rear view mirror. They seem to fall off pretty easily. So you might, oh, and that's gone. Fell into my drawer, so I know where it is, but I'm definitely not going to go get it now. Alright, so same on this leg. I'm not going to go through the whole thing on camera. It just takes too much time. So we'll get that off camera and be right back. Alright, now we have the legs together, we can work on this upper body here. So go ahead and take this butt flap here. That can just sit right there. And now we'll take care of all of this. So we can get these arms out of here. Getting them back in here is definitely tricky because you got to have this exact configuration. Open up that elbow. You can fold this down. Same on this one. Open up this elbow. These are going to rotate out and around. Basically all the way up. Same with this one. Rotate this shoulder all the way up. And just get these out here for now. This panel is going to fold down. It's pegged in up here. So we're going to fold this out. And it can be a little tricky to get this one out. It does feel like there's a little bit of die cast here, to be honest. But I'm going to take this panel. Oh, and it's tight. I don't want to scratch this paint, but take this panel here. This is going to open up. And that's going to fold all the way down. As you do that, this chest and headpiece starts coming up. So, take care of that in a second. Oh, we forgot a step. That's why. Come to here. And this has to rotate 180 degrees. So it sits like that. Okay, so put that back. And then we'll close this back up. And then we'll close this back up. And now this hook is going to reach around, and it's going to grab right there. And it's a very tight fit, but it does grab on. Close down these panels here. Our foot came out. Right, and then you can close up this ab crunch. Tab that down. Bring the arms down, and we're gonna rotate these. So unpeg the arm, rotate this panel 180 degrees, and then put that peg back in. These are going to rotate until you have the hands like this. You can bring the thumb down. So you can rotate this arm right here. And then kind of the last piece here, you want to slide these shoulders down. So push down on these. Both of them should slide down until they meet up right here. So that's kind of the finishing touch. Actually, I probably should have done that before I did these collar pieces. Okay, and then come back here. We'll fix this. And there we have Haiku in his robot mode. Really quite impressive. It's got a lot of detail, paint, and sculpt work on it. There's the back. You can kind of see where some of the car parts went, like some of the engine here with the valves. That's pretty cool. You got some gold and silver details all throughout. Little pistons, engine detail here on the arm. You can kind of almost imagine that, you know, where the parts have ended up. You got the Bugatti grill here on his chest. Really, really neat. You got a lot of paint details, so light blue, dark blue, silver, copper, gold, black. I mean, it's really almost fully painted. It really does look nice. Now, if you're not a fan of the Bayverse look, then obviously you're not going to be a fan of this, but it really is a cool looking sculpt. As far as articulation, it's kind of interesting. The head actually has a cutout on the back of the helmet, which allows him to sit over this, but if you do that, it locks his head. So you got to lift it off of that. And once you lift it off of that, you can rotate all the way around. You can look up to there, down to there, and you can get the side to side. You can rotate his crest inwards. So some nice movement on the head. It's just a little awkward just due to the having to lift it off of that joint there. The shoulders rotate all the way around on this joint. They can go up here at this joint and then also on this joint. You do have to move this collar out of the way, but you can get it all the way up to there. You have a rotation at the upper bicep. It's kind of a weird location, but you can rotate there. Double jointed elbow gets you the full bend. The wrist can move in and out on this joint here. You have a thumb on a ball joint and a peg, so you can get this up and down and in and out. And then the fingers are on 2 pins, but they're attached, so you can get them in and get them out like that. For the waist, you have a waist rotation here. It's a little bit hindered due to this piece right here. So if you lift it up just a bit, you can get it rotated freely. Otherwise, you start colliding here, and then this happens. You end up popping off this teeny tiny retaining hook. So you can get that back on there, but it does seem to collide if you're not careful. So I recommend lifting and then rotating. Speaking of that, you get a nice ab crunch. You can get it all the way down to there, just due to the way it's designed. We'll put that back. And then you may have to put this piece back as well. For the hips, pretty limited here. If you don't move this hip skirt out of the way, it basically goes up to there and back to there. If you kind of collide it, you can get a little bit further. Not much, but it doesn't feel right. But you can sort of move this hip skirt out just a tad like that, and that'll allow you to get this hip around. Now it doesn't feel right, so I don't know if you're supposed to do it. It is colliding and it's potentially rubbing, so I'm not sure I would recommend doing it, but you can get it up. It's just there's a lot of armor and pieces in the way here. I thought they would have a way built in to get this out of the way, but it really doesn't, so you're kind of limited there. As far as rotation, you're also limited. You get basically that much. And out to the side, up to there, essentially. You have a double jointed knee, so nice movement there. For the feet, you have out to there, into there, and then back and forth on that joint. You do get some nice accessories for Haiku. So you get these smaller blades here, which we'll see more in the helicopter mode, but these can go on his back, peg in right here. And drift is kind of incomplete without this, but it is an accessory. So you can have it like that, and I think that completes his movie look, or just the general look of Drift. You also get these swords, which also look really nice. So these can fit into his hand, just like a typical masterpiece. You can get the peg in, and then you can close the fingers around it. There you go, there he is with both swords. Really good looking, kind of works. Now I do like this. I mean, this is a transformation joint, but you can rotate this down. Now you can get a pointing pose, which is kind of cool. Most figures can't do that, so that's kind of a neat little addition there. You can also store the missiles. So here, there's a little peg right there, and you can get this basically plugged in like this, and it'll just sit back there. And for size comparison, since I don't have the MPM Optimus in my collection anymore, there it is with MP44. Fits in nicely, of course, with a Masterpiece collection. The MP44 MPM is probably the same size as this guy, so it will look perfect with a Masterpiece. Now, if you have the Toy World one, it'll probably be a little bit short because he's kind of a shorter character, but there you go for a sense of scale. Alright, now let's get this guy transformed into his helicopter mode. It is a somewhat involved transformation, probably even more so than the vehicle. Go ahead and take these off. And there's some steps that just don't work all that well, but I'll try my best to show how to do it. So let's start off with the arms here. So let's come to the back here, take these panels, and rotate these upwards. And that'll just get that out of the way, but also get it ready for where we're going to end up with it at the end. Go ahead and take the arms, and we're going to lift up on this and remove this from here. So unpeg that from the inside. Going to rotate the arm 180 degrees. And this is where things get wacky. Flip that around. This is going to come down this way. Fold down. There's a windshield on the back of his arm. That's where it's been sitting the whole time. You never knew. Take this piece, fold that down, and that's going to meet up with this other piece. It's kind of weird, but should be able to get that to line up. Then we're going to take this, and this is another tricky piece. So go ahead and open up this panel. Just opening this can be kind of tricky, but open that up. That will allow you to take this piece here and open that up. Then you can take this and fold this down, and then this whole arm piece is going to peg into this. I'm going to rotate the arm. Actually, you can close this panel back down if you haven't already. Rotate this around, and that's going to peg in here. There's two little slots. There we go. So once you get it lined up, just peg this into here. There's two pegs, one on the middle and one on the front, and it just looks like that. Then take the hand and just straighten out these fingers, and yes, the fingers are going to become the bottom of this window here. That's just how it works. Right. So now we do the other side, same thing. You got to get it above the head. So these are going to first rotate up. Rotate these to the front on this shoulder panel, so you can see how I pushed it forward. And then these are going to rotate upwards around the head. It is definitely a weird transformation. And this is actually supposed to stay up, but it doesn't matter. You can put it down too. All right, now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Lift this up. Fold it forward on this joint. Make sure you get it all the way forward on this. Rotate this around and bring this down. Now these are going to peg together, so this can be a little tricky, but you had to get these two to meet up. There's a peg right here, here, and here. So all of those are going to come together and peg, and it's tricky because you can't really see what you're doing, but try to line it up and get that pegged in. Should look like that. And yes, that is how the cockpit looks. Hands just kind of hang out there. Bring this down. This should fit over the head. Then you can take these panels here and bring these down. And that is the top of the helicopter. Yes, I know. Not the best. All right, so that's kind of the front section. Now I got to work the back here. Not that much better, to be honest. But open up this butt flap here. And then this whole thing's going to accordion outwards. You can kind of see how that opened up. And I believe you're going to fold this, rotate the hips 180 degrees. This is going to accordion out and come like that. We're going to take this tail section here, which is actually his butt. The butt becomes the helicopter tail. How ironic is that? All right, so straighten this up. This is going to push inwards on a slider, so slide that down until it meets up. You can kind of see how this looks like a tail. It's not really the best tail. All right, so make this a straight helicopter. That's how you know it's right. It's supposed to kind of look like that, straight line. All right, then we got to take care of these. This is also not fun. But one of these legs has pegs on the inside, so that's the one that goes down in front. So you're going to take this leg, open this up, fold this over. That's going to come down, and that's going to go up. And this one is going to fold down, Fold that down and fold that up. All right, and once you get this in, then we're going to take this whole thing that's going to come collapse down here. Make sure you still have a nice straight tail. It didn't bend in. Should still be straight. Get these tabs here into the front. And yeah, it just doesn't want to stay together. The whole thing kind of comes apart. But that is how it works. And then these tabs are supposed to tab into his chest, just really don't go in. All right, come to the bottom here. We're going to open up these panels here. And we're going to take get the other one, and it should pop apart. And these are going to make the skids. And it's a little weird, but you actually had to bend this. Right. And once you get in there, fold that back down, tab it in. And then this is going to plug in right onto the front. And you can see how things keep coming apart. But there's a hole right here and a tab right there. So line that up, get that tabbed in. And honestly, that actually helps hold it together. Otherwise, things just keep coming apart, like you can see. So let's do the other one, tab it in there. And that makes the skids. That does help hold it together a little bit better. And then these two tabs, that's really what's holding it together. All right, we're getting there. We're getting closer. Go ahead and take the propeller blade. You can take the smaller ones, and these are going to fit into here. And here. And then we're going to get that into here. And we have one more step here. Go ahead and open up these panels here on the sides. And that is going to house these missiles. So there's a little circular tab right here. So you can get these missiles attached to that. They're not even the best connection, honestly, but that's where they go. Same on this side. And there you have Haiku in his helicopter mode. It's interesting. It's got the cockpit here, but it's got his hands down on the bottom. The missiles are out here, but they just look incomplete. It does have a rotor here, but again, this looks just too small, too short. It kind of looks like a chibi, kid's toy. Here's the back, the tail. They tried to make a good-looking tail and, landing gear here. It's in the relative shape of a helicopter, but honestly, look, it's just a bunch of folded panels. So it's not the best helicopter mode, but it's still impressive that it goes from a Bugatti to a robot to a somewhat helicopter-shaped thing. There you go. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Transform Element Optimus Prime. Pretty small for a helicopter, especially the blade. It just looks really weird, but you can sort of fake it into a masterpiece or MPM collection. So final thoughts on the MetaGate Haiku. Let's start with the positives. This thing looks really good in both the robot mode and the car mode. It's well detailed, painted, and sculpted, and it really nails the look of the character from the movie. I really like how they managed to capture the character. The helicopter mode is another story. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But at least those two modes, I think they really nailed it. I do like the accessories, having the two swords and also the little mini swords on the back there. That all screams drift, and it just looks right. As far as the articulation, the upper body is pretty good. You've got a lot of what you would expect, but the lower body, specifically the hips, are extremely limited. There really is no purpose to this double joint because you can't really get it into a pose where you would actually be able to do it because you can't get the hip out far enough, right? It only moves so much. So there's not really a lot you can do with a double jointed knee unless you can bring the hip forward. And that's one of the issues with this figure is it just doesn't have the right articulation in that hip. But overall, you can still get into a nice pose like this, so not too bad. The other negative is the helicopter mode is not good. It really just doesn't look like a helicopter. It's just kind of parts kind of slammed together. And then the transformation getting there is also not fun. It really just doesn't work. It doesn't stick together. It doesn't stay together. It kind of holds together, but it's very loose and floppy. So I don't really love the helicopter mode, but I love the vehicle mode. So much so that I would just display it in that mode. But it's nice to have this as well. You get a nice version of Drift here. So if you're a fan of this character or a fan of the Last Night movie in general, then I think you'll enjoy this. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.